Yeah, what you're seeing, not least in Kiev, and I think I see from that this is Kiev. Yeah, um, the terrorist attacks from the skies, the raining down of missiles and drones, has caused fires throughout a lot of Kiev and a lot of other cities in Ukraine. And again, the idea here that Putin has is to destroy the will of the Ukrainians to defend themselves. And I don't think it's working. The Ukrainians know this is a war of independence. That they absolutely need to win if they are to keep their independence, their freedom, their sovereignty, their culture, their language. Putin also has done things, I just want to mention this because it's so egregious. He's been stealing, his troops have been stealing Ukrainian children. They're brought back to Russia. They're brainwashed. They're taught not to speak Ukrainian, not to think of themselves as...
The Ukrainian Air Force executed one of the most daring and strategically significant airstrikes of the war, marking a dramatic escalation in the conflict and showcasing Ukraine's growing mastery of precision warfare. A Ukrainian-modified Su-27, originally a Soviet-era fighter jet, now symbolized Ukrainian defiance as it thundered low over Russian-occupied Luhansk. Armed with two FAB-250 unguided bombs and guided by modernized navigation systems, the aircraft approached its target with radar cross-section minimized. Its mission, to obliterate a temporary Russian UAV command center. Intelligence indicated that this facility was housing high-value targets, including Orlan-10 drone operators, a mobile command vehicle, and several armored personnel carriers. The Su-27 dropped both bombs from a mere 8 kilometers away. Seconds later, the first blast tore through the roof of the industrial building. The second detonation followed shortly, and within 40 seconds, a massive secondary explosion, likely from stored ammunition, reduced the structure to rubble. Thick smoke billowed into the sky as thermal footage confirmed a complete destruction of the facility, and a communications blackout soon enveloped the area. At least 2 Russian vehicles were incapacitated, and no evacuation signals were detected, pointing to the devastating effectiveness of the strike. Ukrainian command celebrated this precision operation as a direct blow not just to enemy logistics, but to morale, sending a clear message: no part of occupied territory is beyond reach. But Ukraine's momentum didn't stop there. Shortly after the Luhansk strike, the Ukrainian 15th Artillery Reconnaissance Brigade, known as Black Forest, and the 413th Separate Unmanned Systems Battalion launched another devastating attack. Their target, a Buk M1 mobile air defense system hidden in a forest corridor. The vehicle had been strategically relocated after completing a mission to avoid detection, but Ukraine's multi-layered intelligence capabilities had already intercepted its location using signal triangulation and electro-optical imagery. An FPV drone flying just 15 meters above the ground locked onto the camouflaged vehicle and deployed a high-penetration warhead. The impact triggered the detonation of onboard munitions, engulfing the $10 million system in flames. It was completely destroyed. This strike was more than tactical. The Buk M1 system is one of the pillars of Russia's medium-altitude air defense, designed to intercept drones, cruise missiles, and even low-flying aircraft. Its destruction is emblematic of a broader trend: Russia's inability to protect its own airspace against increasingly advanced and agile Ukrainian drone forces. According to Ukrainian sources, more than 50 Buk units and 13 radar systems have already been neutralized. As a result, Russia's air defense net has holes big enough to allow unrestricted drone operations deep into the occupied territory. These strikes are part of a larger shift in warfare on the Eastern Front. While Russia continues to rely on outdated, meat-grinder tactics reminiscent of World War I, Ukraine has leapfrogged into the future, leveraging swarms of drones, real-time satellite intelligence, and AI-driven targeting systems. Russia's strategy in Donbass, especially around Donetsk, remains grimly consistent. Massive artillery barrages followed by waves of infantry, many of whom are poorly trained conscripts or convicts pulled from prisons with the promise of amnesty. These meat attacks, as they're chillingly called, aim to exhaust Ukraine's ammunition supplies and force it to reveal defensive positions. But Ukraine has turned this horror show into an opportunity, countering with what analysts now describe as a drone wall. This wall isn't made of bricks or steel. It's a digital battlefield layered with constant aerial surveillance and rapid strike FPV drones. Thousands of unmanned vehicles sweep the skies above the trenches 24/7. Long-endurance recon drones track even minute movements, transmitting coordinates in real time to frontline units. When a Russian assault group is spotted, FPV drones are deployed, diving into trenches, buildings, and even chasing soldiers across open fields. Each drone costs only a few $100s, but can neutralize targets worth millions. Russian tanks, once feared battlefield juggernauts, are now moving coffins, picked off with terrifying ease. So dire is the situation that Russian forces have begun using unarmored golf carts and dirt bikes to ferry troops to the front, hoping to evade drone detection. The results are often tragic, sometimes even comical. Amidst this chaos, Russia made a critical strategic error. While focusing the majority of its forces on Donbass and southern Ukraine, it left its own territory vulnerable. In a daring move, Ukrainian forces launched a limited incursion into Russia's Kursk region. The goal was not territorial conquest, but psychological warfare and tactical diversion. Ukrainian troops encountered light resistance from under-equipped border guards and reserve units. By forcing Moscow to reallocate elite forces from the Eastern Front to protect its homeland, Ukraine eased pressure on its own defenders and shifted the strategic balance once again. It was a maneuver straight from the playbook of martial arts, using the enemy's own weight and momentum against them. However, Russia's greatest weakness might not lie on the battlefield but within its own ranks. The Russian military is undergoing a silent structural collapse. Volunteer recruitment has plummeted, and the Kremlin has turned increasingly to reservists and prisoners to fill its ranks. Training periods have been slashed, leading to the deployment of barely prepared units into high-intensity combat zones. Independent Russian media outlets, despite operating under heavy censorship, have reported an explosion in court-martials and desertions. Thousands of soldiers, known as kazniki, are now facing military prosecution for insubordination or outright refusal to fight. These are not elite troops. They are civilians, laborers, and inmates, thrust into one of the most brutal wars of the 21st century without adequate preparation or equipment. Morale is collapsing, command structures are fraying, and logistical support is being overwhelmed. This internal disintegration is compounded by the staggering human cost. Since the war began, nearly 1 million Russian soldiers have been killed or incapacitated, according to independent estimates. In the summer of 2025 alone, over 31,000 troops were lost, double the Soviet casualties in Afghanistan. These are not just numbers. They are a generation of young men whose futures have been erased. Across Russia, cemeteries are expanding, hospitals are overflowing, and families are left in the dark about the fate of loved ones who disappeared into the meat grinder. The grief is silent but omnipresent. The social trauma will endure long after the last shot is fired. Meanwhile, Ukraine is rewriting the rules of modern warfare. With robust Western support, it has transformed its armed forces into a network-centric, tech-powered war machine. Every drone strike, every reconnaissance pass, every AI-assisted targeting decision is part of a broader ecosystem of real-time battlefield management. Gone are the days when numerical superiority guaranteed victory. Today, it's about vision, adaptability, and precision. Ukraine's ability to strike deep behind enemy lines, neutralize key assets, and paralyze command structures has effectively shifted the war's center of gravity. The Ukrainian military, once underestimated, now operates with a level of sophistication and speed that Russia's bloated and outdated forces can't match. The war has reached a tipping point. Russia continues to grind forward in some areas, but it is bleeding men, machines, and morale at an unsustainable rate. Ukraine, though battered, remains resilient, evolving, and increasingly lethal. As the conflict moves into its next phase, the decisive factor will not be who has more troops or tanks, but who can outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast the other. This is no longer a battle of attrition alone. It is a war of adaptation. If this deep dive helped you understand the evolving nature of modern warfare, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more advanced military insights. The next chapter in this war is already unfolding. Stay informed, stay ahead.